What is going on, YouTube people? Today we are going to play Travel Agent. 2024 National is coming to Cleveland, Ohio. This is going to be your crash course guide. You are going to want to lock in early for hotels. That's kind of the main thing I kind of want to focus on today. I'll probably do something similar to this when we get closer to the national, like restaurant recommendations and that sort of stuff. But I kind of wanted to really hammer home the point here that if you are even considering traveling to this thing, just book a hotel, pay the extra couple dollar fee that you could cancel it up until pretty close to the event. But there is a hotel situation, and it's going to be a little bit different than what we are used to in previous years. So, with the aid of our wonderful Google Map, I will play Travel Agent for you all on this fine day. Downtown Cleveland, way up here. Cleveland Airport, way down here. About 15 to 20 minute drive, depending on traffic. The IX Center is where the convention is being held. That is right here, right next to the airport. We will talk about this in a second. Cleveland has a downtown convention center. It is not big enough. That is not where the National is being held. It is being held at the IX Center. Let's give a little zoom in here on the IX Center on the satellite view. You can literally see this thing is basically built as part of the airport. These are literally the runways right here, and here is the IX Center. The first thing you notice at this nice little semi-zoomed out view here, no hotels right around here. It's surrounded on three sides by airport, then a field, and then some housing. If we zoom in a little bit more, this thing is basically a massive airplane hangar. I believe they've already said the square footage is smaller than the Chicago National, but this is just one big, huge room. There is a floor plan floating around for what the National is going to look like next year. I think show floor layout wise, it will be a lot better. It'll make way more sense. It looked like all of the corporate was in kind of two areas very close to each other. And then the whole middle section and the whole one side was just all just rows and rows of dealer tables. So even though there will be less space, I do believe the show floor itself will be better laid out. Here's the big thing though. Hotels. You are not staying in a hotel and just stumbling out the front door and walking across the street to the convention center like you can in Chicago, and even like you could in Atlantic City. That is the one major downfall, I guess I'll say, to the Cleveland IX Center is that it is not hotel friendly. Everyone is going to be very spread out. Now, they have an absolutely massive parking lot. It goes all the way around the building on three sides. Absolutely huge. I've never been to the National at the IX Center, but I have been to plenty of other trade shows at the IX Center. The key thing to keep in the back of your mind for next year, does the VIP package include paid parking? I know typically it does. The IX Center charges to park there. If parking's included, that will be probably a big edge towards the VIP package next year. So park that in the back of your head. I don't remember what they charge. It's been a long time since I have been up there. Let's talk about hotels and the whole situation. Let's switch over to this view. So here's the airport. That little star right there is the actual IX Center. You can see there are various little clusters of hotels. There's not a ton of them. Now, I know you're all going to want me to name one particular hotel and say, go stay here. If I could do that, I would. I typically don't have the need to stay in a Cleveland hotel very often. So my on-hand expertise with these individual hotels is very limited. I'm going to point out some areas, and then you kind of make up your mind on what you want to do from there. First, you can stay downtown if you want to. These are all the downtown hotels. There's a ton of them. Downtown Cleveland, I know, is actually a pretty nice place. I did look. The Cleveland Indians, or as some people like to call them, the Guardians, are in town the early part of that week. They head out of town on Thursday, I believe. They are in town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So if you wanted to check out, yes, I'm going to call it Jacobs Field. It's not Jacobs Field anymore, but it is what it is. If you wanted to check out Jacobs Field, if you've never been there, the Indians will be in town. If you wanted to catch a game, they are playing the Tigers. Times to be determined, but the schedule is locked in. So keep that in the back of your head. About a 15 to 20 minute drive to get out to the IX Center. I don't think you'll have a ton of problems with traffic because you're going to be going against the flow of traffic heading out of town in the morning and then heading back into town in the evenings. I don't know where all the corporate events and trade nights will be. I have no idea how they're going to handle all that stuff yet. It's just too soon to say. So if you wanted to stay downtown, you potentially could. Tons of good restaurants downtown, lots of stuff to do. You have the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame downtown. If you've never been, you could check that out. Science Center is pretty good if you got the kids. Let's talk about closer to the convention center. There's a couple main areas, and we'll work out and come in. Westlake, that is this little cluster of hotels up here. Very nice, trendy area. This is home of Crocker Park. I'll zoom in a little bit here. That is a larger outdoor shopping mall type situation. They have like an Apple store, big movie theater, all that sorts of stuff. Places to eat, lots of restaurants in this area. You can see Trader Joe's, Bonefish Grill. There's a bunch of other stuff in this general area. There's a few hotels up here and some directly in the Crocker Park. I've actually stayed at this Hampton Inn before. It's not bad. It's completely average. But this would be one area to stay if you kind of wanted to be around stuff. Now, it's a little bit of a drive away, probably about 15 minutes or so. But no matter what you do, you are going to have some sort of drive into the show every day. So that is this little cluster. Like I said, plenty of food, plenty of restaurants, a little shopping area if you need something for the wife and the kids to do. Down here, this little cluster is North Olmsted, another pretty popular area. This has a traditional shopping mall. Once again, a bunch of different restaurants, fast food places, Chick-fil-A's, Chipotle's, some nicer restaurants, just your average little, suburban shopping center. There's Targets, there's Walmarts, the whole nine is in this general area right here. Quite a few hotels here. Mileage will vary depending on the individual hotels. I believe this Aloft is fairly newer. I have not stayed there, but those are genuinely pretty nice. So that'll probably be another very popular area. But once again, you're not seeing a ton of hotels in these individual segments. Over here, this is the general area right outside Berea. This is very close to the IX Center. The IX Center is right here. There is a group of hotels here. These are all the airport hotels. Once again, mileage is going to vary. Some of these are pretty decent. Some of them are pretty mediocre at best, depending on what you are looking for. This area right here is going to be your closest hotel area. There are some restaurants, fast food, Panera, that sort of thing in this general neck of the woods. Over here in actual downtown Berea, this is a little bit of a college town. There are some pretty decent little bars and restaurants here. Like I said, this is going to be your closest stay to the actual IX Center itself. There are a few little random spots of hotels here and there. There's one down here in Strongsville. This Best Western Plus is actually where the Strongsville Card Show is. It's fine. It's nothing crazy. Once again, tons of restaurants here. Shopping area, whole nine there. Over here, this cluster is Independence. A little bit further away. Once again, a lot of restaurants here. No crazy shopping. There's a Topgolf here. I wouldn't be surprised if some company leverages that Topgolf or something. They have a pretty big complex out there. Lots of hotels in this general area. Lots of restaurants in that general area as well. And then you just kind of see a couple little random smatterings of hotels throughout. Figuring out your hotel situation is going to be key. The other thing that I would consider, this is just me. If you're flying in, you are going to have to Uber everywhere that you go because nothing is within walking distance of anything. Keep that in the back of your mind. You do you on the math on how this all works out. If it was me personally, I'm genuinely a person that likes to kind of have control of their own destiny. and not be relying on Uber for transportation in a situation like this. In Chicago, it's fine. In Atlantic City, it's fine because there are some things you can walk to. In Cleveland, that's not going to be the case. Once again, me personally, I would consider going in with some people and potentially renting a car instead of dealing with an Uber. Run the numbers on what the Uber will cost you every day, depending on where you're staying, because you're going to have to Uber there and back, and then probably to dinner potentially. And then if you're running around to trade nights or something like that, I have a feeling, like, once again, that all the various different events are all going to be very spread out to a lot of the different areas that we just discussed in regards to restaurants, trade nights, all that sort of stuff. So you're going to want to be able to be mobile. If you're going with a group of 3 or 4 people, I know the big trend on the socials is don't split rooms with people, but maybe split a car with people. Someone wants to go rogue and do their own thing, they can Uber. But having wheels on the ground will not be the worst thing in the world. Me personally, I will be driving into the show every day from home. It's about a 45-minute to an hour drive for me to get there. I will just end up driving it most likely. So that's kind of the general lay of the land. The other thing I want to kind of throw at you to keep in the back of your head, if you've never been before, the IX Center is about an hour away from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. There you go. 1 hour and 4 minutes. Like I said, just about an hour. A little bit of traffic because I'm recording this in the afternoon. Rush hour is going on. But basically about an hour from the IX Center down to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So these are the things that you kind of want to keep in mind as you are thinking about going to the Cleveland National. Book your hotel now. I do think supply is going to be limited. Rates will probably get more expensive as we get into next year and closer to the show itself. It's been announced, but it hasn't really, people haven't necessarily caught on yet. I would just lock it in. I don't know about the Airbnb situation. I have never had to look for an Airbnb in Cleveland. That might not be a bad idea for the purposes of this, since everyone's going to be all spread out. If you are going with a group, it might be better off just to do an Airbnb or a VRBO or whatever in that particular section of the world. That could be a smart play as well. And then, like I said, think about the car rental situation. Cleveland out by the airport will have Ubers. I don't know that they are going to have enough to handle the workload that the National is going to bring in. I've never had the need for an Uber in Cleveland, Ohio. Maybe someone in the comments can speak to that more than I can. But like I said, these are the types of things that you want to kind of keep in the back of your mind. As we get closer to next year's National, probably about a month out or so, I'll kind of do like a little, here's some good places to eat, here's some cool things to check out, that sort of stuff. Since this is my neck of the woods, I do hang out in that area. I'm up in that area for work quite a lot, so I am pretty familiar with a lot of the stuff in the general region. I don't know everything, but I know a lot of the stuff up there. If you are local and you have some favorite restaurants that you like to go to or some favorite watering holes, feel free to drop that in the comments down below. Just wanted everyone to be aware that the layout here is going to be completely different from what you're used to in Chicago and even what you were used to in Atlantic City. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.